For centuries, the formula has been simple. You take the most dangerous individuals in society, you put them in a concrete box, and you surround them with guards, guns, and absolute control. It is a system built entirely on fear and restraint. But what happens when you remove the control? What happens when you take a unit filled with violent offenders, unlock their cell doors, remove the guard from the floor, and just watch? This sounds like the plot of a dystopian horror film, like The Purge. But in Pulaski County, Arkansas, this wasn't a movie. It was a radical, terrifying reality experiment. And the results tell us something disturbing about human nature that we might not want to admit. The experiment took place in the H unit of the Pulaski County Regional Detention Facility. This is a maximum security environment. The people here aren't in for unpaid parking tickets. We're talking about alleged murderers, violent attackers, career criminals. People whose lives have been defined by surviving aggressive environments. The premise was introduced by Sheriff Eric Higgins. His theory? If you treat people like animals in cages, they will act like animals. If you give them autonomy, perhaps they will act like responsible adults. So, for 6 weeks, the unimaginable happened. The heavy steel doors of the cells were unlocked for 24 hours a day. And crucially, the deputy station inside the unit was abandoned. The guards retreated behind secure glass, watching on monitors, only to intervene in life or death situations. Nature abhors a vacuum. When established authority is removed, it doesn't create freedom. It creates a power void. And in a place like H Unit, that void must be filled immediately. The question wasn't if chaos would erupt, but how fast. The first few days were exactly what you would expect, pure adrenaline and testing boundaries. The noise level skyrocketed. Without guards walking the beat, the inmates realized they owned the physical space. We saw immediate factionalism. In prison politics, you are rarely an individual. You're a part of a tribe based on race, gang affiliation, or geography. These tribes immediately staked out territory. The communal tables became war rooms. The threat of violence was palpable in the air. You could see it in the body language, the puffed chests, the intense staring contests. They were figuring out who the new apex predators were in this new ecosystem. Illicit trade exploded. Gambling rings were set up openly. Homemade alcohol, prison hooch, began brewing in larger quantities. It felt like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. The sheriff's experiment looked like it was heading for a bloodbath. But then, something fascinating happened. The bloodbath didn't arrive. Instead, a strange, fragile type of order began to emerge from the chaos. Why? Because even violent criminals understand that 24/7 anarchy is exhausting and unsustainable. You cannot sleep if you think someone is going to shank you every night. Leaders emerged, not appointed by the system, but chosen by the organic hierarchy of the block. These OGs, original gangsters, stepped in to de-escalate conflicts. We saw moments where young, hot-headed inmates were about to fight, and an older, respected inmate would step in and shut it down with a look. They created their own judicial system, their own rules of engagement. It wasn't peace exactly. It was a cold truce born out of necessity. They realized the guards were the common enemy, and fighting amongst themselves only served the system they hated. This experiment forces us to look at the famous psychological studies of the past, like the Stanford prison experiment, in a new light. In Stanford, normal students became sadistic guards when given power. In Pulaski County, we saw the inverse. When you treat people, even dangerous people, with a sliver of trust, they don't necessarily become saints. But they do become human. They seek structure. The experiment wasn't a total success. There were still fights, threats, and illegal activities. But the prison didn't burn down. It proved that the iron fist isn't the only way to maintain order. Sometimes, the most terrifying thing you can give a prisoner isn't punishment. It's responsibility. What do you think would happen if the locks opened in your local prison tonight? Chaos, or a new kind of order? Let me know in the comments below. This is Felvix Rudo, watching the systems collapse.